Listen, I'm not going to tell you that my meatballs are the best. I'm still perfecting them.
Your meatballs are the best, aren't they?
They're good. They're above average. We'll go above average.
That is making me nostalgic of, was it your deep fried turkey for Thanksgiving?
No, I didn't deep fry it.
You sent us a picture of it,
Yes,
wasn't it?
it was. I said that deep frying was amateur hour, and you were like, "Oh, hey, you're in the South. You better not. You better not say that." Right.
What did you do with yours?
Yeah, I did the bacon wrap on
That's
it.
right.
And
You did the bacon. You remember that?
I remember that.
That was before COVID.
Well, it was right in the middle of COVID. That was in the middle.
Yeah,
of COVID.
it was back home. But the last time you were here was to do the show with us. So thank you for coming back.
It was my first trip on the road.
So when I looked at that picture, my cardiologist called me and said, "What are you looking at this for?" I'm just telling you.
Guys, we're going to have some fun with Joseph Gentile. If you want to give some props to Joe Gentile, guys, put it in the feed. If you want to learn about Pearl certification, that is undoubtedly making your home primo for sale with its marketing campaign. We're gonna explain why here on Real Talk on the I Love CVille Network.
And we're going to talk a little bit about your construction arm too, or your contracting arm.
Contractor arm, sure.
Contracting arm, which is really super important right now because of the lack of finding folks, qualified folks. So I wanted to kind of ask you a question live about that. So give you a little heads up on that.
We're
He's
ready.
nervous.
I think he's going to do well. This man never gets nervous.
No, he's nervous
here.
about what's going to come out of my mouth. That's what he's nervous about.
We got a lot of New Hyde Park on the feed. I wonder why we got a lot of New Hyde Park on the feed.
Long Island.
J-Dubs, we can rock and roll when you're ready.
Let's go.
Good Tuesday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk, an insider's guide to real estate, life, and the pursuit of happiness on the I Love CVille Network. We're live in Charlottesville, across the Commonwealth, the country, and the world, and we enjoy connecting with you guys on this platform. Today's program is going to be darn good. We got a great friend of this network, a guy whose energy is absolutely contagious, and Joseph Gentile in the house. Judah Wickhauer, our director, if we could go to the studio camera and welcome the distinguished gentleman and Joseph Gentile on set this morning.
I think we just need to go to Joe and just let him shine with his awesomeness on that. So, hey, Joe, thank you for coming. Thank you for driving down. Thank you for dinner last night. Mr. and Mrs. Smith enjoyed it last night, so thank you for taking us out. Went for a beer and a burger, which is always a good thing. But, Joe, tell us about who you are and who you're with, and so the folks who
Sure.
may not know who the great Joe Gentile is.
Well, listen, thank you guys for having me back. So, Joseph Gentile, Vice President of Real Estate for Pearl Certification. And coincidentally, last trip before COVID, first trip after COVID for me, which is very cool to be back here. It ties a little bow on that whole pandemic thing for me. So what I do is handle all things real estate for Pearl Certification. We help people sell their homes for more. We give the agents a fantastic marketing program to market the efficiency of a home to make it more valuable in the marketplace.
So let's jump in on that. I mean, we've been preaching this for a while, and you guys have been sponsoring us for a while, so thank you, and thank you again. But, talk about the math. It's 5%, right? It's been consistent. Has it been consistent through the pandemic? And let's talk a little bit about what's coming up next for Pearl, because you guys got some exciting stuff coming up. You wouldn't tell me last night at dinner, so I've been waiting all night long to hear this.
Yeah, so look, what we do is we help showcase a home's efficiency so agents can actually sell it, a little or differentiated in the marketplace. When homes are marketed correctly with Pearl, according to our appraisal study that was done here in Charlottesville, homes sold for a premium. They sold for 5% more at closing. So it's a fantastic thing to really differentiate your house. The agent differentiates themselves, and it does really well for everybody. In terms of what we're doing now for new stuff, we just developed a program called Green Door. Green Door is a fantastic consumer-facing portal where homeowners can go in, put their information from their home in, and we give them suggestions on how to make their house more sustainable. And so it doesn't have to be a Pearl certified home necessarily. It just has to be a home with assets in it, and we could give them just a guideline as to, hey, look, these are the things that you can do to achieve a higher Pearl certification, so when you do go to sell it, you can sell it for more. It's a great way to engage, again, that homeowner with our contractors that help do that kind of work, and it's been a lot of fun. So we just rolled that out, and we have a couple of other little things that we're working on. Something called the Solar Equity Calculator, or what we call the Pearl Equity Calculator, and what we do is it's another tool to help in the appraisal process. So we give a value to what the PV system would be. And it gives the appraiser some guideline as to what they should put in terms of value onto the house.
Well, that's important because I know you went out for a drink with Woody Fincham yesterday after our drink in Burger.
Listen, my wife is listening.
No,
I didn't. I absolutely did not. I went back to the hotel.
No. This was work. This was
Literally
work because
was gonna see
Woody Fincham. Sorry about that. Woody Fincham. I also tend to give out my own address, so
A man talks for a living, Joe.
Thank you. But it's important because what you guys are doing are helping the appraisers understand how to add value to that, and that is super important in today's world and stuff like. And as you've been talking, a question popped in my head. We don't have to tackle it right now, but where is the benefit from the buyer to buy a Pearl certification house? Does that make sense?
Sure. Well, let's go over the appraisal piece of things.
Sure.
So, the Appraisal Institute came out with this appraisal addendum to help people with homes that are high efficiency, appraise for more, because those assets in the house do add value, right? If you tell somebody, hey, look, you're going to live in a house that has less dust, less bugs, less mold, costs less money to run every month, and was more comfortable. Of course, you want to pay more for that house because it's more valuable than the house next door, right? So the Appraisal Institute came along with this addendum according to Fannie and Freddie guidelines, and we help provide all the information so the agents don't have to do it. And then we help them along with the process. The equity calculator is another tool in that process to help homes appraise for more, because the last thing you want is a bad appraisal and have your deal go sideways.
Well, and that's a real thing in today's environment, right? That sometimes it's very difficult to get homes. Not difficult, I shouldn't say that, but some of the appraisals are not coming in, because of the up in pricing and different so forth and so on. But if you get a Pearl certification and get this appraisal,
It's a leverage point.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I was fumbling
what
with a
you're
word.
saying. It's a
I was
leverage
fumbling
point.
for a word. Thank you, Mr. Miller, for keeping me.
I was going to let him hang there for a little bit. I knew exactly where he was going. I just wanted to see
for
how.
2.5 years. I've seen it hang for a while.
I'm going to drink my coffee. You guys talk.
Matt, I'll get out of your way here. Matt Good is watching in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He says Joe is the best. Phil Siegel is watching. Awesome info, Joe. 7 states and 5 real estate firms watching Joe Gentile on today's program.
There you go. So what benefit is to the buyer?
Well, it's confidence, right? Instead of buying a home and finding out after the fact that it's going to bleed you slowly dry in terms of your bills every month, that it's going to be more drafty. There are things in a home that's not efficient that buyers just are disappointed in, and they don't find out about that until after they move in.
Oh.
So now if it's a Pearl certified home and you can look at the report and know what the assets are in there, that it has components in it that are going to lead to your comfort level and your economy of the house, your family economy.
Like I was saying earlier, just to see you and be with you is just a ton of fun. I love being with you. But the market's starting to get somewhat back to normal, whatever normal means. So this is why this is so important now, that you're going to have to position yourself a little bit better. We're going to have to do our jobs a little bit better, right, in my opinion, on that end of it. And that's why you want Pearl certification to come in. And it's important for the buyer's agents to understand that so they can convey the value to their buyer. So what tools do you have that you're talking about? 2 little apps on that you guys are working on, which is great stuff. I've actually did it for my house. But what other assets does Pearl have that the buyer's agent can use to help build the confidence other than the report?
Well, my favorite is our home tour cards. So a good listing agent that certifies the home with Pearl will post up these home tour cards all around the house. So for every high performing asset, it highlights.
Well, let's talk about that. So if I walk into a utility room, right, and it's a high efficiency unit or whatever, this information would be on that, and you guys provide that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then the other cool thing is if there's things that are hidden behind the wall, like insulation, that way you wouldn't know what's going on, or if the house was air sealed correctly. So little things like that go by completely unnoticed in the real estate transaction, we bring to the forefront.
You know why this is super important, this conversation? I was just looking at the little daily market monitor. There's several open houses starting back up. Open houses are starting back up. People are starting to go and tour homes, and this is where these little tour cards would be super helpful. So, I mean, this time last year, obviously, that was zero, right? Right.
This time last year, we were saying the open house could go away forever.
And it looks like that's not the case. It looks like
People
Yona
want
had
to
one
people
the
want
other-
to see things. They want to look and feel and touch. The internet's great and it does its job. The same thing. Like, do you think meetings are going to be just Zoom from now on, or do you think people want to do this? Right?
I'd rather do this.
Of course.
Our buddy Alex says, who's watching the program, he says, Zoom is virtual communication, and the essence of the word virtual is not nearly as good. It's virtual. Virtually
Very true.
as good. So we would obviously want the in-person connection, and that goes with touring a home. Probably the most important decision you're going to make, besides picking your spouse, Keith Smith. And you pick one that was exceptionally well. And I say that because I know she's watching, and I say that also because she's A-plus people.
Yeah. So let me see if I can reciprocate. Is your wife watching?
No, she's not watching right now, but she will be in about 9 minutes.
9 minutes. Okay. I will save my kudos to you for 9 minutes.
That's what you need to do. Thank you, my
got
friend,
it?
because I'm a little in the doghouse right now.
And you didn't go out for dinner with
I
us
did
last
not
night
go
too,
out for
and you're
dinner.
still in the
So,
doghouse. You
dude.
should have went out then.
No, I know.
We need to talk about that.
We do need to talk about that. Evidently, I work too hard.
Oh,
Don't we all?
yeah. Yeah, this is not the forum to have this
No,
conversation.
this is not the forum. Probably shouldn't have said this. I love you, Mrs. Miller. You're the best.
Oh, she's not on yet. You have 8 more minutes.
She watches the replays. Jim Cannell says, fantastic, Joseph Gentile. This question is coming in. Joe, can you speak to the trends you're seeing in your travels from a real estate sales standpoint?
Perfect.
Is it as hot as it is here in Central Virginia?
So it really depends on the marketplace. So it's going to sound like I'm sidestepping the question. We are seeing days on market start to tick up slightly in certain marketplaces. Like Long Island still is a disaster. So if you have a good home on Long Island, it's going to sell very fast. But as we're talking to agents in different places, you're starting to see it soften slightly. It's not like all of a sudden the switch is off.
Yeah,
Slightly.
the word soften, just
Just-
You like balanced.
balance. I got a problem with that. It's not the problem because you said it. It's just the expectation of everybody thinking now 3% mortgage is normal. I mean, you come from that world. We had this conversation yesterday, right? My first house was 18%, and you were telling us stories.
I refinanced people to 12%, and they were thanking me. They were sending me gift baskets.
And what year was that?
Oh God, no, I'm not.
Enough.
Yeah, that was
Enough
It was
ago.
about 20 years ago, Keith. Thanks.
Where'd you go?
Thanks for reminding me.
Keith Smith.
I'm about 1,000 this year. Go Keith.
Well, he's getting me back last night for the Levittown conversation. that
Oh
we had.
yeah. I've been up all night long figuring out how I'm going to get you back on that. But I haven't gotten there yet, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, you already took a shot at me with the out with Woody after you dropped us off comment.
Mrs. Gentile. I said no, don't go. He went. No. So all kidding aside, we're just teasing,
Yeah.
folks.
Tongue in cheek over here.
Tongue in cheek. But I was trying to explain this to somebody the other day. The market was like somebody's foot pressed down on a Ferrari Testarossa, was redlined, and it was redlined for 6 months, 12 months. It just was going. So what's happened is that foot just kind of went from staying down up a little bit. I'm not quite in my 7,000 RPMs. I'm probably at 6,000, but it's buzzing along. So, instead of selling in minutes, it's selling in 5 days.
You have an accurate pin.
Oh,
now.
boy, my wife just said, I'm watching this time live. I really love you, Mrs. Miller. I literally put this in here. I love you, sweetheart. I love you, sweetheart. Oh, man.
I know what?
Can you tell who runs the households on this set right here with these 3 dudes?
I think Joe and I are going to take a minute,
Oh,
a
man.
breather, and let you speak to your wife at the
All
moment.
right, we'll do that off air. So back to the trends you're seeing, because you have very much a macro perspective.
Sure.
We're focused here on Central Virginia, the macro perspective.
So look, across the country, I would be lying to you if I said Pearl was doing gangbusters in real estate across the country on the real estate side of the business. Agents just didn't need a product. By the time, frankly, frankly, I would give them their certification packet. The house was sold. It was crazy. Now we're starting to see more, like across the country, I'm seeing more and more requests coming in for certifications, which means to me that the market is, again, slowing down, balancing. Yeah, I didn't say soften this time. But yeah, it is. But you're starting. With more inventory will come more choice. So if a buyer has more choice, then it's okay. Well, if I don't have to put in an offer this minute, and I don't have to go $50,000 over asking price to buy it, okay, what's in this house that I'm looking for me and my family? So they don't have to do those renovations and those upgrades after the fact.
So let's talk a little bit about your contracting services, because actually that's important to something that I have going on at the moment. I'd love to hear a little bit more about it before I ask a couple more questions.
Sure. So there's two divisions in Pearl, right? So I work with the real estate division, and then there's the contractor division. So what we do is we vet out contractors across the country, and we find the best of the best, like Segura Solar. They're one of our premier clients, right? So we bring them in, and we certify all the work that they do. So if you have them come in and they do work for you, it comes with a Pearl certification on it. Sometimes it's only an asset, like if you just do a furnace. Other times, like Segura, they'll do a weatherization upgrade on your home, and then they put solar on it. So we'll do the whole house, and it's great for the homeowner because at that point they know the work that they're doing is backed by a company that is certifying that this company does very good work, right? And it also gives them the ability to give their Pro certification to an agent to help sell it at the time of sale, or if they're refinancing, they could even use the documentation to try and help the appraisal process on the refinance.
So a real live application, my personal house, we own a nice personal house. We want to put solar on it. Built it 21 years ago. Back in the day, it probably was what it was 21 years ago, top end stuff. Now so much. So we're going to actually have you guys come in, and we want to put solar on it. So talk about that process a little bit, right? So I turn around, we get on your app, we make an application, we have you guys come in and do it, and then there's this determination. We need certain things done before the solar gets done. Let's say a new roof or whatever it is. So talk about that process.
All right. So now what you're doing is, so we don't actually do the work. So
no, I understand that.
Segura comes in and they do all the work. We're just certifying we're backing what they do in their process. What Segura does. Yeah. They're incredible. Like Segura does great work. So sure. Anything that they're telling you to do, because what they want to do is they want you using the least amount of energy in your home.
Sure.
And then they want you producing it.
But if I come in and I get the Pearl certification on it, then you're going to help us with recommendations on who to hire to do solar, correct?
Absolutely.
And that's what I was trying to get to in the question.
Yes.
So if they come in and they say, hey, you need a new roof, your insulation needs to be done. I'm a recovering developer and builder. I know who to call, but let's assume I don't. Right, and that's an important part of this conversation, because they get this great report, but you help them with contacts, local contacts.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
To help them to get the work done, and that's important that we connect those two instead of disconnecting the two,
sure.
So that it's more seamless. Am I making any sense?
No, it's 100% correct. Actually, that's what Green Door does. So we have a feature there where you can search for all the contractors or the Pearl partners in that area, and it'll give you a whole list. And then again, when you're in there and you're saying, okay, I'm looking to do solar on it, because every home is recommended to have solar, so it'll let you know what companies are in that area as well to help do it. But we do everything. We
But
partner.
You help facilitate it.
We partner, right? But we partner with solar companies, with companies that do HVAC. Who do weatherization, insulation. That's part of the weatherization packet is doing insulation.
And that's the point. And this is, to me, a super important point that's maybe not getting out there so much, is that you just don't drop me after I get this certification and this list of things. You connect me with an insulation company. And let's face it, in today's world,
sure,
right? In today's world of subcontractors and folks tend not to show up.
Transparency and honesty is important.
Transparency and
no
honesty
doubt.
is important. But more importantly, you help me get with a trusted. We talk about trusted advisors on the show all the time.
He's the source of the source.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh, the vetting process is crazy. I mean, look, we have some of the best contractors across the country. We vet them out and make sure that they do above standard work, because without that, then how could we recommend them, right? So, and then once they're in our network, we make sure we do quality control checks, make sure that the work is being done up to the standard at which they came into the network. You know, we've had to say goodbye to contractors. There are times when they, you know, say, look, you know, we get your standards up and then we'll bring you back. But yeah, for the most part.
That's an important thing to talk about because people are super busy now. Folks are starting to
God.
get out, right? I know that if I have Pearl certification come in and they say I need to upgrade my insulation package and it's this particular company that you recommend, then I just call them and I can trust that they've been vetted. I trust that they're qualified, right? And I know the work is going to get done. Then I can go on the show and talk to Jerry for 5 million hours a week, right?
Oh,
or something like that.
Something like that.
Look, I made one phone call. I did an insulation upgrade at my house along with my air conditioner. I made one phone call. It was Jay Best at Green Team Long Island. I throw him out a plug, and he did a fantastic job. I mean, it was without a doubt. You know,
But
it was
that's
a
on-
one
he
call. It
was
was a
on your
one call
list,
close
though,
me.
right?
Absolutely.
So
I mean,
that's the point.
I wouldn't. And there's several companies on Long Island I could have chosen from it that may have even would have done it cheaper. I don't know. I didn't call them up. I didn't ask because it's really not about price, about quality. You want to make sure that you're getting quality work done, and because what could if it's bad work.
And they show up.
Yes.
I cannot tell. I get more phone calls about I need somebody to do something than anything, from real estate agents, from clients. Hey, I need a guy to talk New York. I need a guy.
Right.
And
Oh, I got a guy. What do you need? I got a guy for everything.
I got a guy
I got
right
a guy.
there.
It's gonna be on my tombstone. I got a guy. I got a guy for that.
Are we on meatballs yet? We didn't get the meatballs yet? Okay.
We got questions coming in for Joe. So this one on Twitter, do you guys also assess the efficiencies of like Tesla or this person's not explaining this well. Basically, Segura and some of these companies are putting in a charging station
Sure.
for cars. Do you guys do any of that work?
Sure. So we add that to the certification as well. So if it has a charging station, that goes into the certification, and that's one of those things that you can help promote to sell the house for sure.
I can talk about that personally, and the answer is yes, because Yona and I are looking to get an EV, at least one EV in the house. And so the conversation between Joe and Pearl and Segura is to make sure that my systems are designed so when I get that, it's set up to charge my, won't be a Tesla, but to charge my.
What are you going to get, the Chevy Volt? Have you thought about it?
I have,
Are you
yeah.
going to get the Hummer? Is that what you want?
Is Mrs. Smith watching this?
Probably so, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
You know what he's going to get, Jerry? He's going to get exactly what Yona wants. That's exactly that is.
We all know that.
He gets zero choice in that car pick.
Can you let me at least believe I have a choice?
We all know that. Melinda Gray giving you some props here. How about the question that's coming in about, and this comes up quite a bit on the show, commercial efficiency, doing any of that?
We do not currently.
Okay.
No.
Nope. But LEAP can help you. Was it LEED? No,
LEAP. Is
LEED. I think there's LEED certifications for commercial on that stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, LEED, yeah, but I mean that's a whole different build. Like, so when you're building, you could build to a LEED standard, and it's it's great to do, and there's all sorts of tax incentives to do that, but it's a
You purely focus on residential.
residential, yes.
Very nice.
So what else we got coming up with Pearl? Some exciting stuff.
I mean, look, it's right now we're looking to conquer the world. We have some manufacturer partnerships that we're releasing. We're just
Great.
about to announce. So I can't go into those, but those are always fun. So that basically,
So without even details, forget about details. What does that mean, manufacturing? That you will team up with a manufacturer of a product of some sort.
Correct. So
that would go in a house.
like an insulation company or an HVAC company
Oh, really?
or an
did
air
not know
conditioning company. So
Wow.
just if you were to just name one,
Yeah, yeah.
X,
Got
and
it, yeah.
they partner with us. So as their units are being installed, they come with a Pearl certification on them.
Oh, kind of like back in the day when you used to get your monitors. What was that? You get this Energy Star.
Yeah. No.
I think it was Energy Star, but whatever it was. Back in the day, you would be able to get refrigerators and all this stuff that was.
Oh, Energy. Yes, Energy
think it
Star
was
is definitely
Energy
yes.
Star,
Energy
yeah.
Star for sure.
All right, cool.
Yes.
So you're going to be able to. Oh, cool. When are you going to roll that? Don't give me specifics. When
So
you're going to roll that?
you know
out?
something crazy. A large part of the problem is because of the pandemic. There's a shortage of chips. So the units aren't being produced as much. So everything is being
Semiconductors.
So everything is being delayed.
The reason I'm asking is a little personal because we're ready to replace our lower unit, and we'll kind of wait and make sure we get one that's got your little stamp on it.
Listen, I would appreciate that.
There you
I'm
go.
sure a manufacturer will.
Melinda S. Gray, she's the broker and manager at Michael Saunders and Company. She says, "Are you doing anything in Florida?"
Yes. Yes, Melinda. we should be talking, Melinda, yes.
More questions coming in.
If you want to talk meatballs, he'll fly down there and talk meatballs. And
Melinda said Joe and I used to be counterparts back in the day.
Yes, sure. We both worked for Realogy together, and yeah, we both went our separate ways. Yeah.
This question's coming in from Eric. What's Pearl's footprint in the country?
So right now we have, so it's pretty interesting. So we have 3,200 agents that are part of our network that we consider Pearl Partner agents. We've also partnered with the National Association of Realtors Green Resource Council. So where all the green designees have an automatic partnership, they have to sign up, but they all are automatic partnership with Pearl. So there's 3,500 of them. Yeah, we're growing throughout the entire country. We have pockets all over the place.
Fud Guy says this, Joseph, how can I contract companies or trade workers that own a small service company to apply to be approved vendor with this?
Sure. Without a doubt, you just contact Pearl. If you want, you could reach me at realestate@pearlcertification.com, and I'll put you through the right people. But we're always looking to interview new contractors
huh?
for sure.
the
Yeah.
power of this show.
I mean,
that's
social media when used for the good,
you go.
and not to divide the country, and that's what we're trying to do is use it for the good. More coming in here. What other verticals are you pursuing with Pearl certification?
New construction is probably the one that we're kind of getting into a little bit more now that we're starting to see greater inventory pop up with that. So we are partnering with new construction companies for
We'll
sure.
talk about that. How does that work?
So we'll work with a company like Eagle Homes, which they're one of our Pearl partners, and we certify all their new construction, and we provide them with the marketing packets, et cetera, just the same way that we do for real estate agents to help them sell the house for more, and then that gets grandfathered in. So the next, so that whoever buys the house when they go to sell it, they have the ability to use the Pearl certification to help sell it.
So they come in different stages of construction?
Final stage.
Only final stage. So they
Yeah.
don't come in at pre-drywall and inspect it. So it's
No,
just
it's
at
one.
the final,
Yeah.
and they go ahead and do that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I did not know you guys did that. Look at this. I learned that today.
Melinda's got some good questions today. First, she wants you to bring her some bagels, and then she
From
says,
Bodo's, right?
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, she's from Connecticut, so she knows good bagels. Like it's not like she.
Well, this not to get off on the food thing, because eventually we're going to go there.
Yes.
And he doesn't want to knock Bodo's in this town. I'm just giving you a heads up here.
No,
People
I'm
are
not.
so
Hold on.
passionate.
I didn't.
Yeah, he didn't knock them. He
I
did
did
knock
not
them.
knock them.
Yeah.
I will tell you, every
did not
time I
knock them.
go up to visit my daughters and my daughter in Connecticut, we bring up dozens of Bodos, and they freeze them, and to me, I'm probably going to start a fight here, but they're better than I used to get from back home, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, you got half
that-
of Long Island watching now because Joseph Gentile's on the show. Be careful what you're saying.
Yeah,
Them fighting words around here.
Let's just say.
I also haven't been
Let's
on
just
Long
say we
Island.
all
for-
love bagels.
Let's just say that it's been a long time since you've had a Long Island bagel. That's,
Okay.
that's
It has been, actually.
Well played. The softening balance. Long time since you've had a bagel. Very good.
That's the
how
way
I'm
we'll
gonna
say it.
Joe, you're not playing nice today.
We're managing the perception right here. She wants to know if you certify buildings, and then other folks are asking other efficiencies that you can certify. Retail, for example, is coming up on the feed. So I love the engagement from the feed. If you have a question for Joseph or you want to give him some props, just put it there. So she wants to know about buildings.
We do not certify buildings, but we can package together an asset certification. If you have a multi-unit building, we can do asset certification. So there's certain things that we can't certify in a apartment unit, for instance, that we can in a home. So what we'll do is we give a marketing packet for several assets that lie within that one unit, but it doesn't hit silver usually. It's usually below silver.
Let me ask a question a different way. I'm listing a condo.
Same thing.
So if I'm listing a condo, I pick up the phone, I call you. The likelihood, because you're not, as a condo owner, I don't control everything around me. I only control what's in the four walls.
Correct.
On that end of it. So you're saying you normally do not get a super high efficiency?
You would, right. You wouldn't get to so our lowest level is silver.
Yeah.
The likelihood is you're not hitting silver. So, but we'll package together all the efficient aspects of that condo unit and package them and give you the same marketing packet.
But I'm about ready to sell it. I'm about ready to put it on the market. But I will get my tour cards. I will get an overview of exactly what's in it, how what the heating and cooling system is, what the efficiency is.
Yes.
All this kind of great stuff, which is a great sales package to hand to Jerry, who's trying to buy a unit.
Correct.
Follow-up question, what about rental properties?
Sure.
And investment properties, right? A lot of folks are owning rentals and investments. Would you come in and look at those rental investments? So you treat them no different?
No differently. I mean,
At home, right?
It's the same thing. But what you're doing is giving the confidence to that person who's renting. It's, hey, look, I'm asking for X amount of dollars per month. You're giving the confidence to that renter, saying, wow, this is a great home for me to live in, to breathe in, that is going to be comfortable for me and my family.
So
and my bills are manageable.
Correct.
So I wonder if there's a correlation between increase in rent, like you do an increase in sales. So if I have a Pearl certified rental unit, am I able to get a little bit more per month or not? Or has anybody ever done the math on that?
We have not.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now, we're actually working on our next study, which is on home sale, which
We're
is
not supposed to talk
we're
about
not allowed to talk about it.
Mr. Guy says, can you give me that contact information again? We will reach out to Joseph.
Sure. Real estate
Okay, I'm going to put it in the feed. Real estate,
at pearlcertification.com.
pearlcertification.com. And I'm tagging you.
Yeah, that's great. Mr. Guy, I look forward to speaking with you.
Stay at pearlcertification.com. Put that in the comment section.
Isn't that a beautiful thing, man?
I mean, that's what's happening right here.
Love
Mr. Fudd guy, are you a contractor? Do you have a remodeling company? Let us know what you're doing here, because you're asking really good questions here. How about this question? And this is everyone's shooting at the hip right here. But do you do anything with vehicles? I wouldn't think you do anything with vehicles.
No.
Yeah.
Just the charging station.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's somebody probably does some efficiency rating on that end of it. But just like we were talking about on our house, Pearl is going to come in, and then Segura is going to come in, and we're going to make sure that we have enough juice, for lack of a better term, so we can charge our EV, or whatever Mrs. Smith allows me to buy, EV on that thing to do it.
Look at how far we've come in just a short period of time.
Amazing. Amazing. She is watching. Chris Dale giving you some prompts.
Well, she knows I want the Hummer, but I got expensive taste. So.
Stephen Lancaster in Richmond says, is the remodeling business exploding on Long Island like it is here in Virginia?
Oh, it's crazy. You're months, if not, a year or so away of getting anything major done on your house. You could get some small stuff done, but try getting the materials.
Right.
Well, the thing about Long Island is there's no place to grow, right? You're either in the water or that's it.
We were talking about it last night. There's literally no space on Long Island.
And so that's why renovations are so good. For us, it's a little bit different. We have some room to grow. We can grow the urban ring and so forth and so on, assuming that the folks choose to do that. But, in Long Island, we're constricted, or you guys are constricted to North Shore, South Shore, and the Hamptons, and after that you run out of land.
The real estate broker Ray Cadell watching. Johnny
Hey, Ray.
Ornalis, the restaurateur, just shared the show.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Ray. Ray, thank you for what you did yesterday. Ray's picked up the mantle and is volunteering for some neat stuff with the Regional Housing Partnership, and
Very
I
nice.
want to thank him for doing that.
Patty Morandi O'Brien, welcome to the program. How did lumber prices impact Long Island's remodeling scene?
Oh, look, you're getting people who are quoting, and they're saying that the quote is only good for like a day, like because you get the price of lumber is going up so fast.
Well, but it's going down now.
Well, we're talking during COVID.
Got it.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, look, that's news to me. I
yeah.
was trying to get materials over the weekend, and
Yeah, well-
it didn't appear to me that it was going down.
Yeah,
so
but
It was 1,500. I think it's now, what, 600 and change?
yeah, it's cut almost in half.
Yeah. Nicholas Erpy, thank you for sharing the show. It's cut in half.
It's cut in half.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is the lack of skilled laborers.
there's
That's
none.
the real problem.
Absolutely.
And they're hopefully going to work on that stuff. We're going to eventually do a show about that, about vocational training and all that kind of great stuff.
Do you guys partner with any bankers to help the lending process?
So we do have conversations with lenders all the time, because it's, again, the Appraisal Institute's process for appraisal is very unique. So we work with lenders, often on how to go through it, how to locate an appraiser who's been trained on the addendum, and they are coming out now with green mortgages. Now they're few and far between. They're very hard to find.
Green mortgages?
Yeah.
Tell us what that is.
So they will fund you money to make green improvements on your home. So it's great. So it's almost like a construction loan, but it's a construction loan for green and energy efficient upgrades.
I did not know.
I didn't
It's a
know that.
relatively new concept, and it's great. You know, you have people that are, again, if you find it, you have people out there that are leveraging it to
we'll
make
have
their house.
to ask Scott Morris about that.
Yeah.
And see if he's got any product out there, because that's what I'm ready to do, and I'm trying to figure out how to fund it. So we're going to have to reach out and learn how we're going to fund this little project that we're going to do on our house to bring it up to efficiency.
Remember I told you about my mortgage guy? Yeah, he didn't have a green mortgage for me.
He didn't have a
He
green
didn't have a green mortgage for me.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't have a guy for that.
You don't have
Yeah.
a guy?
Yeah, I don't. But
I'm a
my
little
mortgage guy is a pretty good guy.
I'm a little disappointed. I thought you had a guy for everything.
I with the exception of that, on Long Island, I do not have a
Do
guy.
you not
for
have
that.
a guy?
I do not
John
have a guy for that.
Costello giving you some props. This question, everything plumbing related, installation to repair to new rough-in to exchanging fixtures, industrial, residential, and commercial, mom and pop owned, and our prices service reflect that mom and pop ownership. That's the guy, Mr. Guy, who's going to reach out to you about getting his firm certified.
I love it. That's right in our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what he should do is also reach out to me, because we're always looking for qualified folks, and real estate agents are always looking for qualified folks to help out with home inspection items, and plumbing is always the struggle. To find folks in electrical too is always the struggle. So
Well,
if you
that's
can reach out to us, I'd appreciate it.
the really cool thing about Pearl is it links the contractor network and the real estate network, right? So when we have homes now during the pandemic, this happened very frequently, and it had less to do with the pandemic and more the fact that Pearl has become a mature certification, right? So homes that we started certifying 4 and 5 years ago are now hitting the market. So now we have people that are contacting us, hey, I had XYZ contractor come in to do work on my home, now I want to sell it, and now we're working with their real estate agents, getting them up to speed on how to use Pearl certification in the process. So it happens all the time. Like we have people call us up and say, I need a real estate agent, find someone in your network to help me out, help me sell it.
So that's why I was trying to connect the certification and the contractors, because what we're seeing, Yona and I are seeing, and I can't speak to other real estate agents, but the ones that we're having conversations with, we're having to have conversations about extending closing because we can't get folks in to make the home inspection repairs items. We can't get an electrician to show up to swap out 2 GFIs or 3 GFIs or whatever it is, and it's becoming problematic because they have to be licensed, right? You can't just have anybody come in and do that, and that's the reason why my wheels have been turning about the connection of the two, because we have a couple of closings right now that we're actually having conversations about, look, we need to extend this because we can't get the folks in, and I've been calling my guys, and I can't get anybody in.
So
let's talk about that connection.
Well, because I want to talk about one, because you had asked a question a while ago, like the benefit to the buyer.
Sure.
One thing that we've had now, I mean, we have like 3 or 4 of them across the country that are signed up with us, are home inspectors. So the home inspector loves us because it offsets some of the bad news. Like, think about it, like most of the time a home inspector just has bad news for the homeowner. They now are, like some of them have partnered with us, so they're certifying the home during the inspection process. So they look, this home is a very efficient home, although it does have X, Y, and Z the matter with it. So again, it kind of gives them a little bit of good news, like, hey, you're buying a really good home. It's got a couple of things that matter with it, but understand that this is an energy efficient home, and you're buying something that's pretty good.
Try that one more time at United States Marine Corps Staff Sergeant level,
Okay.
right? Which would be me.
Okay,
Right?
so a
Try
home
it more-
inspector comes in to inspect your home. So
Got it.
you're a buyer.
Yeah, got it.
And they come in and they're doing their process. They review the report with you, and in their report it says this is a Pearl certified gold home. But it also has, maybe
Got it.
the roof is a little, needs a little work.
So I
maybe
do
it has a GFI outlet that it needs.
I get Pearl certification on Mr.
So it's a piece of positive in a punch list of negative things.
That's exactly-
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Because
Mr.
the home inspection is ripping the home, but if that right there is on the home, that's positive.
So
Yeah.
this is the benefit of spending all this time together.
But is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm
Thank
saying.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Mr. Bill.
you get Merrick, New York watching. Marla Fenderline is watching. This question is coming in, and Bill McChency, thank you for watching the show. This is coming in from Virginia Beach. So is Pearl certification much more valuable in a buyer's market than a seller's market?
Oh, without a doubt, yes. Without a doubt. I am very confident in that. It's a fantastic tool in a buyer's market.
But not all the time, right?
It's good. Look, if you want to be a good agent and you want to differentiate yourself, Pearl certification is the way to do it. You're showcasing knowledge that no other agent is showcasing on a listing appointment. You're marketing the home in a far superior way, okay? And you're doing right by your seller because you're like, hey, look, you've done the upgrades. Let me make sure you reap the benefit of those upgrades.
So I'm going to
So
take that a
that's-
little further and play off of Jerry's confidence conversation because that registered with me. If Yona and I sell our house, which we're not even going to go there, but sell our house, and we're Pearl certified,
She wants to sell,
and
he does not.
Jerry is the buyer's agent, but he can have a conversation with the buyer and offer the confidence. Hey, look, this house has all this stuff. This is why maybe they were asking a little bit more money for it, and it just builds the confidence in the buyer. And from today's market, buyers are just getting beat up, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they need a little good news. They need a little bit of confidence. And that's why this certification is so important because they're getting beat up left and right, but they can get this, hey, I know that I am making the extra effort to buy Jerry's home or Keith's home because I know that it's certified. Does that make any sense?
So Charity Edwards up in Boston, Massachusetts, her first certification with us, she throws it out there. She listens to what we do, et cetera. She had 3 people come to the house, her first open house. 3 people that didn't want the house she was showcasing. They just wanted to see what a pro certification was.
Oh.
It was very interesting, and she ended up selling the buyers on a home after the fact. I think 1 or 2 of the buyers she ended up selling houses to. So she picked up a couple of buyers through the process, but they came just to see what is this pro certification thing, and do I need to have it in my house? Which is exactly what Pearl does, right? It highlights something in a way that's so unique that it draws people in.
So we're all in agreement. The market is balancing. It's kind of getting back to the needle in the middle instead of
We all want that.
It's the best.
It needs to
Right.
be done.
That's the best for everybody.
yes.
This market is unhealthy.
Very unhealthy. So, but as we get closer to this needle to be upright in the middle, it's super important now for the source of the source, for the forward-thinking seller, right? Now's the time to pick up the phone, call Pearl, get your house certified.
No doubt.
Right? You may not want to sell it for 1 or 2 years, Mrs. Smith. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get there. But we now have a Pearl certification that we can, when we get ready to sell it, the market's probably going to be at that neutral point, or maybe a little bit on to the buyer side. I have this process done, and it's finished, and I made my upgrades, and we can demand a little bit more money maybe when that needle's getting a little bit balanced up in the neutral. So now's the time to do this.
It's always the time. I mean, why not? If you're making investments in your house, why wouldn't you want that return on investment? You're not getting the return on investment if you're not highlighting those assets. They're as if they don't exist in the house, right? When you buy a house, every house, how many homes have you purchased that where you knew what the furnace was? Like, I'd say 0. You don't go in saying, wow, okay. But when it's highlighted and you understand it and you sit there and say, okay, this is how it's going to impact me, all of a sudden it becomes worth something.
It's like buying a Lamborghini and not driving it around town to get the attention of pretty ladies. You get stuff done to your house, and you get it Pearl certified, and you're getting some ROI right there.
And then
Go ahead, Joe.
And then you want to know why you're in trouble with your wife.
She's still watching
yeah,
right
this-
there. She knows what she married. John Delio giving you some props right now. John Costello, I see you as well. This is an intriguing question. Do you work with developers before they even crack the dirt?
So we'll work with their plan on what the house, general build standard that they build to. So yeah, I mean, but it's we have to spec it out there. We have to know ahead of time what the assets.
Well, that's
are gonna
back
be.
to working with new construction, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily.
As a matter of fact, John Costello is the one that works with some of the builders. So John works
Is he
for
on
Pro.
your team?
Yeah, John
Okay.
works for Pro. Yeah.
Very nice.
So the developer's really not going to be the one that's going to be working typically on the build, on the vertical side. That's when the builder comes in. Very few. Stanley Martin is one that comes to mind, and Southern Development being another that do both sides. They do the development, and the local folks anyway.
Sure.
The development, but typically the developer develops. Then you are sitting down with whichever builder to up their product. So it's not a subdivision-wide decision. It's more specific to the builder side.
Your buddy John Costello repping the company well. Pearl certifications make the value visible. And then he did the bicep emoji right there, John Costello.
Thank you, Johnny.
Where's John watching right now?
John's out. Oh God, now you got me. Oklahoma.
Okay.
Oklahoma. Wow.
Very nice. Throw this question to you, and this is from me. Travel in 2019, how many miles logged versus travel in 2020?
Great question.
Oh God, 2020 was virtually zero, right? 19. Geez, I go by nights, like how many hotel stays. So my hotel stays, I think I was somewhere in like that 87 range, which is healthy.
365.
Yeah, which is healthy.
Yeah.
That's-
That's what, 20% of the year?
Yeah, I mean, so we were just talking
That's
about this the other
legit.
day. Yeah, my wife and I, one of my years when I was in franchise sales, I think I did 127 or something like that, or something crazy. And my son was just born. It was my, yeah.
So that was a piece of cake then, going to Pearl.
Yeah, going to Pearl. Yeah.
Sales. I breathe.
Yeah, I said I need to reduce my travel. So my wife was like, yeah, but you still traveled almost 90 days. Yeah, no, but it's reduced.
90.
It's reduced.
Do you enjoy traveling?
Yes and no. I mean, I am. This trip was extremely tough for me. You know, it certainly leaving the house was difficult.
Thank you
It's
for
never
doing
easy
it.
to leave. It's never easy to leave. And going home, it's always special. But I think it's needed. It's needed for the health at my home that I have a couple of nights on the road. Because my wife wants to kill me on a daily basis now, rather than just 2 or 3 nights a week.
I get it.
That's an interesting thing because Yona and I work together every day. We've been married for 35. We're always together. But every once in a while, Yona says, "Hey, I'm going to go see the grandkids," right? Because she needs,
Connecticut?
yeah, she needs a little bit of a break from Keith.
Yeah, my wife said it this weekend. He needs to travel because we think about it. My whole time with my wife, I was on the road. So now all of a sudden you hit stop. We're sitting in the
And
house,
you're together.
we're sitting in the house looking at each other, and it was like
Instant retirement.
yeah, eating eyeball to eyeball. Like, okay, well, who's going to make the first move here?
Mr. Guy continues to offer good questions. Do you offer this service without the sale of a home? Can I have you pro certify my house just to know where I can improve it?
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's through Green Door. So when you contact me, we'll set you up on Green Door. And
Oh,
we'll,
can we put a link in the feed? for that?
Yeah, well, I put his email
Got it,
and
perfect.
tagged
Yeah.
you on it. So I'm feeling he's going to reach out to you. Another one of your colleagues, Tyler Joseph, watching the program here. I believe he's a contractor with Pearl, contractor partnership executive for Pearl certification.
Sure, he's out in Colorado. He's great.
Tyler Joseph watching the program. Does your basement studio still exist? I remember during COVID, we were interviewing you, and you have that fabulous basement studio with some of the best lighting I've ever seen for an in-home studio.
I've improved it.
You have?
I've improved it. Yes.
How so?
I bought real studio lighting. So,
What
and-
lights
and
were you using? Because you couldn't
I
tell
was
they
using
weren't real.
I was using floodlights.
You were using
I
floodlights?
had 4 floodlights.
Actual
floodlights. Floodlights. I would just.
You couldn't tell.
Oh,
it
it
was
was-
super bright.
Yeah.
And sometimes I could tell that you were squinting a little bit.
Yeah,
Is
it was
because
tough.
I was blinding you?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was not easy. I was, but you couldn't buy any. Because everybody was broadcasting from home, so there
Like
was a
job
shortage.
site halogen
Yeah.
lights.
It was tough
Yeah.
to get the components.
Oh God! So I went out. I bought lights like you have in the studio. So I have those set up now, and I bought a new backdrop, and yeah. So we're doing some video work now.
Are you guys still communicating that way? How about
Well,
this
we've
question?
always done that.
Okay.
So we're fully virtual. I mean, my company is dispersed throughout the country. So
So you guys were in front of all this prior to this. You guys really didn't have a singular point. You guys kind of worked remotely from different parts of the country.
Well, yeah, he's all over the country. That's what
Right.
he's saying.
But the
Yeah.
company itself
the
is...
company is. So I mean, we were starting to really focus in on Colorado, and we were going to build a headquarters somewhere in Colorado. And then once COVID hit, we're like, okay, now this is working just fine. This is great.
So the dining room, kitchen, table conversation, at least that comes up in the Smith household from time to time, just kind of get a little bit off of Pearl. Where do you see us going here? Do you see us going to a hybrid? Do you see folks coming back? How do you see us in a big picture moving forward?
A lot of people like thank you, Nicholas Urpi. The Lamborghini analogy was brilliant, Jerry. 10 for 10 right there. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Martha HG, welcome to the program, and Rosemary Postel. Good question. Good question. The finance firms in the Big Apple are saying, get your
That's
tails
exactly
back. in the
right.
Everyone's
seats.
going back.
That's the reason
Yeah.
I asked.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm watching all my friends and family. They're all being pushed back into the office. It's crazy.
Crazy
you have
good or
people,
crazy bad?
I don't know. Look, you have people who are doing their work from home, and they were efficient at doing their work from even more so. And now you're asking them to go back into the office. Yeah, there is a certain amount of you need that interaction in the office, but
Especially guys like us.
right. But there's also a lot of distraction when you're in the office, right? So you actually have people, and they're working longer hours. So
And they're commuting.
yeah,
So it's an interesting thing. We're representing sellers that are buyers that are coming out of the Northeast, New York in particular, right?
This is called a Zoom town.
Really?
Charlottesville and
oh, because everyone's doing Zoom calls out of it.
They're leaving densely populated areas. They're working from ISPs, and they're coming down here with huge bags of money, scooping up all the real estate, have a couple $100,000 delta that they're banking because they sold a townhome in D.C.,
Right.
came here, bought a 5,000 square foot home, and then they're working from the basement from an ISP.
Wow.
So now we've been branded a Zoom town.
Except
Except,
there's now a change.
ooh, what's the change?
And the change is that some of these firms are saying, yes, you can work from here.
But you got a different pay scale.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So we're not paying you Manhattan or DC salaries. We're paying you salaries that's commiserate to wherever you are, which is pretty interesting. I don't think anybody saw that come. I know I didn't see that coming. So what's happening, and you may have, so the buyers are now getting a little bit squirrely. They don't have to go back. They're not saying you go back, but if you're going to work permanently here,
We're going to trim your pay.
we're going to trim your pay a little bit.
Now I know some, but not somebody. I know a few people that during the pandemic, especially when school was virtual, they went down to Florida. They did an Airbnb down in Florida
And stayed there.
and stayed there, and then Airbnb their house wherever they are in New York, New Jersey.
Well, you
Connecticut.
saw that out in the Hamptons, right? The folks never left. Cape Charles was in. I didn't bring the article with me. The town of Cape Charles on the tip of the Delmarva Peninsula. If Yona's watching, I think it was Southern Living magazine was voted the #1 beach town in the United States on the southeast end of it is because people they got high-speed internet, they got broadband, and people just never left. They just stayed there and they're working from home.
Did you see people leaving Long Island?
Yeah, I mean, my brother, my brother and his wife, they have a second home down in Florida, and he's like, why do I want to be here during the winter if I'm working from home? But I'm gonna be, and he was enjoying. He was biking every day. Meanwhile, I'm shoveling snow, just ham and egging it at home, and he's sitting there just doing the gym, bike every day, enjoying life. It was, yeah, but you see it a lot. Yeah, you're seeing a bunch of people, do that.
Loaded question.
Oh boy.
You've been.
Don't you love when they
Yeah,
start
this
that
is great.
And this is like Nicholas Herpy. This one's for you. I don't want to talk politics, but loaded question. Here we go.
Look, you've been in this industry for quite some number of years. Different from Realogy, which is, for those who don't know, that's like if not the largest holding real estate company in the United States. Is that
Yes,
correct?
correct.
You are on the mortgage side. You're now working with Pearl. So you've been at this for a couple of decades for sure, right?
It's been some time.
Got it.
Yeah, come on, stop aging our friend over here.
Yes,
Keith.
it's been about 20 years. I have just over 20 years of real estate services experience.
Are we in a bubble?
Ooh.
I think we are.
Really?
Okay.
Let's
It would
talk
be
about
that would be my,
Yeah. So let's talk
because
about that.
I like, and I know you
It
don't.
takes
I,
cojones to say that. In this
and
town.
I know
Yes,
you don't.
I
I know
don't
you don't
believe
like to. I don't.
That's not that
but
I
again,
like it, I just don't agree
look.
with
It's
it.
just an opinion. I think at some point when you see, there will be a breaking point where you see interest rates jump because eventually they have to. I mean, we can't.
So you see an actual pop. You
I-
actually see a 2008 pop.
It has
Really?
to be. It has to be. We were talking about it last night. With first-time home buyers.
didn't
If you're-
convince me last night
If
either.
you're a first-time home buyer, how on earth
You can't afford
are
it.
you affording to buy a house now?
But that's a different thing.
But it's all the same. At some point, you're going to
I was
have
doing
generations
an
of
interview
buyers.
with a gentleman that was the director of operations of Habitat for Humanity USA yesterday. And he said that the 25 and under crowd, because of what you're saying, doesn't even consider home ownership as part of the American dream anymore because the prices are so unattainable and they have the school debt from college.
Correct. They're never going to own their home. Like, if you think about it, like they can go in, they're never going to own their home. Like the thought of actually owning that asset, like our parents did, or like us, it's unobtainable for them.
So that's Generation Z.
Yeah,
Right.
25 and under, right?
That's Generation Z. The millennials have the largest buying profile. Last year, 38% of all the sales.
But to play devil's advocate, the millennials have a little bit deeper pockets and a little more money saved. That's
No,
what you're going to say, right?
So what
Yeah,
they're
and-
doing is they're delaying everything much later. And the
Yeah,
Z's,
having kids later.
Z's will be the same, I think, or longer on that end of it.
But is it because they want to or because they're forced to?
I think it's that, Joe.
It's probably a
It's
little bit.
like it's not healthy. It's just that it's not. You know, at some point.
My passion is affordable housing. Put a ton of time and energy into that stuff. But when I refer to a bubble, I'm thinking of what happened in 2008. I don't see that happening. I see the problem of affordable housing pushing people out of the market. That I see. But I
What's
don't.
the type of bubble you see?
I mean, there has to be a market correction.
Okay, market correction is one thing.
But it's going to have to
Okay,
be.
let's talk
It's going to
meatballs.
have to be. It's
I'm
going to have to be.
curious.
It has to be significant.
This is the one that you can tell really ruffles his feathers because
Right.
he's in the game.
But-
But you
but-
asked the man the question.
So, but look, and he also got burnt on the last one too. So, I feel terrible sitting there because I'm not rooting for it.
No.
But when you think about just how it has to happen,
Sure.
you're not going to see a gradual, just okay, everything just flattens out. And you have a ton of real estate agents that are probably not going to be in real estate
Oh, agree
when
with
it
that.
happens. You're going to see, a group of buyers that need the opportunity to buy, especially at a higher interest rate. So if rates go up, I mean, there's so many compensating factors to it. The foreclosure market, when the foreclosures come into play, what does that do? How does that affect the marketplace? There's a lot of people out there that couldn't pay their mortgage during this whole thing, and eventually it's going to come due. And
You're
it's a
talking
sad
about
thing.
The
forbearance.
But
Yeah.
but if you track, and I track this stuff super closely, the forbearance is moving slow. It's less than 2 million in the whole country that are still in forbearance at this given. I think it's 1.8 million.
Explain to the folks that are not as savvy and sophisticated as you guys what the forbearance is.
So the forbearance is that if you basically got a timeout of making your mortgage payment.
Right.
Right. And you got a timeout, you're making your mortgage payment. Some is a year.
Timeout does not mean you didn't have to make the mortgage payment. It just got tacked onto the back end.
Right, you
Well,
take a
that's-
30-year mortgage, make
yeah.
a 32-year mortgage.
And that's what I was just about ready
Yeah.
to get into. So you don't have to make the payments, monthly payments, but it's getting tacked on the back end of it. The interest is accruing,
I don't
right?
think a lot of folks may not realize that.
Well,
But they're basically, if they go with the forbearance, they're going to be paying a hell of a lot more.
well, they don't know that is because I know they don't know that because these are conversations we're having with folks,
Right.
Sure.
and educating them that look, is this really what you want to do? And we're going to have a particular show about this on how to get out of it. Folks get out of it, But the reality of it is, the appreciation is such at this point. If you're really foreclosure is not going to happen because what's going to happen is the bank's going to say to Jerry, sell your house, right? And
yeah.
Jerry's going to sell the house, get their note done.
And
then move on.
How about this one though, right? So, human nature for most people. I'm not saying you have savers out there that save money, right? So I'm not talking about those people. But if all of a sudden you had to stop paying $2,000 a month for your mortgage,
They got out of the habit.
and then all of it, right? You get out of the habit of
And
doing
they started
it.
spending that money.
And that money now has gone maybe to a car or maybe to this, and that now there's certain luxuries that they're enjoying in life. Now they have to start making a mortgage payment again. There's going to be payment shock in there.
You're talking human behavior being changed.
Correct. And it's going to be very interesting when that happens. It just
Well, I've been doing this for over 3 decades, and the only thing I know for sure is change.
sure.
It does this. That's
Change,
just
death, and taxes.
that's it, brother. So they go up and down. But just a quick set of numbers. In 2007, the average down payment that people put down were less than 8%. Now it's almost 16%.
Because they have to.
Correct. But they're
Well, explain why they have to, because the market's so competitive, there's so many buyers.
That's
They have
exactly
to.
right. But what my takeaway from that is folks are saving money at rates that they not normally have saved. They're using
That's a legitimate
cash.
argument, because we quarantined for a year and change. We didn't go to happy hour, to dinners, etc.
They're using cash. And the other difference in 2007, about 30 to 40% of the loans with these crazy arms
Yeah.
that blew up.
Yeah.
And you don't see them happening anymore. These are the best way to hedge against inflation is a 30-year mortgage.
No doubt. Joshua says on Twitter, if interest rates go up, won't that balance that market? Yes, it's going to sting, but it seems like we need that.
Yes, I would agree.
Joe, I don't 100% disagree with you, by the way. When I say a bubble, because I take it very personally, because I've been through this explosion.
I know.
When a bubble pops, bursts, it's just instant, and that's what happened the last time. There will be air let out of the bubble. It'll come down. Interest rates will climb up a little bit. More houses will come on the market. things will stabilize. I can tell you in our region, I ran the numbers for 20 years. We've been about 5% year over year price appreciation, and that included the years of this real estate depression, because that's what I call it. So I just don't see a pop. But you're 100% right. I think it's going to be very micro location. I think certain markets are going to get hurt a little bit more than other markets. But I asked the question, and I got it.
How about this one? This is from me. This a dad of a 3-year-old. And we're both very excited for our little boy, especially my wife, to go to preschool. Or pre-K3 or whatever it is. Are students and kids going to go back to in-person learning this fall on Long Island?
Oh yeah, I mean,
100%.
Yeah, mine were in person the whole year.
Really?
Yeah. That's how I got the gift of COVID.
Wow.
Yes.
It's different than
Explain
Yes.
explain that. I missed
His kids were in school?
My kids were in school the whole year. I mean, they look. Our school district did a fantastic job, managing it. I mean, most of the Long Island schools did. Very few were virtual. They had some of the senior, the senior levels, but all the grammar schools were
5 days a week?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either. That's very different than compared to here.
And
a lot of parents in this area are jealous of what Joseph Gentile's family enjoyed.
Yeah.
What
Because
Joe
marriages were tested.
What Joe
enjoyed.
enjoyed.
Working at home.
Oh God. And then some days you had a quarantine, so then we were I was sitting at home because my wife is a teacher, so she was
Right.
in school, so I had the kids at home. When they did go virtual because of whatever quarantine, and it was torture. I don't know how people were doing it full time. I just God
Wow.
bless you. Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa, I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
Really? Because Connecticut.
Well, I mean, this one was hybrid. I mean, here in this area, moms and dads, husbands and wives were working at home, and their kids were learning from home.
Oh.
You talk about a test.
Oh. You had the option though. They did offer a virtual option. I mean, most of the schools. I think the number was somewhere around 27% of my district was virtual overall. But I mean, the class size. I think my wife's class was about 15 students, 16 students. They all had to be 6 feet apart. And
How many high schools do you have in your town?
I only have one.
Really?
Yeah.
Brian Lancaster follows up. Joe, can you offer more perspective why you think a bubble is on the horizon?
I just think a forced correction has to happen. I think to get prices down into a affordable place.
Tangible?
Right.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a slow burn. It has to be something quick. All of a sudden, people just throw their hands up and say enough. There's just going to be a group of people okay,
Like
I'm
with
done.
lumber?
It's just this is gone too far now
Well, it's
it's
called buyer
just,
fatigue, and that's what's going on. Buyers are just tired of this multiple offers. But again, this stuff is very micro market located. You coming from a perspective of Long Island, right? A perspective over here, you're starting to see and we just put a listing on the market, and I can't go into too details, but Jerry and I talked about it yesterday, and we potentially might have a sale for it already on that end of it.
A big one?
Could be. And
Good Lord!
It could be. I don't.
Yona!
Mrs. Smith's going to get me into
I
trouble.
know, you're not supposed to do
I'm not
this.
supposed to do any of this.
She calls this bad juju.
I think I just went into some sort of jail.
I had nothing to do with that, Yona.
She had nothing to do with it. But the point I wanted to make was, this time 6 months ago, we would be having multiple offers, right? We're not having that. But the days on market are ridiculously fast. So it's adjusting. The market is adjusting a little bit here. I mean, I don't want to juju it. So, but I just don't see a bubble.
To Keith's point, 08, 07, 09, the homeowners were using their homes as piggy banks.
Well, that's
not
right.
happening here. We got
Well,
equity
right.
in the homes now.
well.
Right.
We said something earlier.
Hello, Matthew Small. He's giving you props.
I think 2019 is kind of the benchmark. We can't think about what happened in 2020. And to Joe's point, we're gonna see things kind of come back down. But I just did a quick look yesterday at Lake Monticello from 1/1/21 to 7/19/21.
That's the neighborhood he lives in. It's the
and
largest neighborhood in Central Virginia. 4,300 rooftops?
4,300, very
Yeah.
good. And I just use this as a benchmark, right? Because it's just a one simple community to go ahead and do that. The median days on market was 5, average was 17. Same time period in 19 was a median was 24. It's 24. 20, that's ridiculously low.
It's ridiculously low, but it needed to be corrected.
Yeah, so I think
It needed to be corrected then. That we wanted a market correction. We didn't want the pandemic to come in and make it and exaggerate the problem.
So
The problem is that we're bent so far in one direction here. Just think about how
Yeah.
far we're bent in a direction.
Well, this is going
and
to
it's
prove
going
that
to snap
fact.
back.
This is going to echo what you're saying. 19, that same period, median sales price was 219. This year it's 265. That's the difference.
Right. It's a big jump.
That's the difference. The people that are buying and getting that kind of value are, bought in 19 and getting that kind of value are loving it. But the people that are coming into the market at 265,
With so much stimulus dollars, so this is on Twitter, with so much stimulus dollars in the market, why would the Fed raise interest rates anytime soon, essentially causing larger interest payments for themselves?
that's assuming you believe the Fed has 100% impact on mortgage rates, which it does not. It's only a portion of it. The bond market.
I think this
Correct.
was your business, right?
Yeah, it's the bond market.
The
Yeah.
bond market is really what regulates that, and it was dropping a little bit today, which
Yeah.
means mortgage rates are going up. We will. I'm confident we will stay in threes the rest of this year, but next year it'll start creeping up to 4. It has to. To your point, it has to.
It's just so. But then again, if it ever crept up to like just say 6,
Oh my God.
what would that do to home values? Because just you couldn't just.
If it crept up to 6, that
Just-
would be a bubble burst right
Right,
there. So
just
with
think
the
about that. Think about, and 6 is a
And 6 is
it's-
cheap money.
Right, 6 is
Yeah.
like people were refinancing the 6% thinking they hit the lotto.
Right.
So now you're looking at
Well, you refinanced at 12. Mine was 18.
But you're talking a 2x increase
Yeah.
first now. I mean, what do we have? Just under 3?
But I'm not saying that that's going to happen. Like if you just
It's
look,
gonna-
let's say 2024, 2025, we're at 6%. What does that do to home values? Like who can afford homes
A million and change at a 6%.
6% rate? It's just it's not income is not going up that far. It's not going in.
So quote Neil Williamson on this, right? And to go back to it, will be myriad of things, right? Inflation's going to creep up. It's going to creep. It's already creeping up. It will creep up. Mortgage rates will creep back up. Right now, the biggest problem is a lack of production. There's not. I mean, in 2007, there was 4 of units available. There was 4 million units for sale. This is nationwide. Existing homes for sale so far, 2021 is 1.6 million. 16 million, excuse me, 1.16 million. So there's not a lot of product on the ground. Well, how do you get more product on the ground? Is you build more units. And then,
This is a complicated one here. This might be more finance related. I'll ask it anyway. Elliot, good question. Are you guys concerned about stagflation?
I think that used to be a thing. I think,
Stagflation is when we have inflation and the economy does not grow at the same pace, keeping up with inflation.
and I think,
Stagflation.
and Joe might be able to answer it better than I can, but that was a thing for a while. I think you're starting to see inflation go. Have you
Social
really?
media, the questions come flying
Right,
from
this
everywhere.
is-
You better be on your P's and Q's,
Yeah,
right?
listen. The last time I checked, I'm not an economist. I just want to throw this out there. But yeah,
play one on
yeah,
TV.
You stayed at a
Like the
Holiday
Holiday Inn last
Express
night.
last night. I showed you a deal. I love this guy right here.
That's great. Yeah, look, it certainly is a concern. I don't think people. Look, businesses aren't giving out massive increases in pay right now. It's not, and cost of living. I mean, just look at gas prices. They jumped $1 in a year. So you think about that. People again are getting approved for mortgages and at whatever that level is. Whatever, a year ago, right? And they're at 3%. And all of a sudden now the cost of living has increased, where daycare has gone up, or gas prices have gone up.
Everything,
Energy costs have
groceries.
gone up. Right.
Yeah.
Now all those goods, and now all of a sudden you went from kind of affording to something to not affording it. So what do you
So
what do
you're
you
talking
do
about
with
the
that?
Especially in Long Island, right?
Oh, yeah, Long Island's
It's a
a
very
little
different-
expensive.
different world.
It's a little expensive to
it's
live
a
there.
whole different world
Yeah.
on that end of it.
My in-laws up there.
So you're 100% right. The ancillary costs, right, of actually living are going up. I mean, Yona and I are seeing this all the time. We were going to go out and see our youngest daughter out in Seattle, and I looked at the flight. She's running another half marathon. We want to go support her and all that stuff. And just regular economy tickets. This time last year, I could have got for $800 for 2 people. It's $2,000.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's tied to
And
fuel.
and Yona and I going, we love you, honey. We'll FaceTime you.
Early COVID, you get a barrel of oil. They were paying you money.
That's exactly
to
right.
take the barrel of oil off their hands.
Well, just to wrap it back to this balloon thing that we were talking about, this bubble thing, before the bubble, I would literally have bankers walk in to talk about giving you money. I would have bankers walk in my office and want to
I'm
pay
having
me
some of that.
and pay me to take money.
Yeah.
I literally kicked them out of the office. Get the hell out of here.
We should do a bull and a bear show on a housing bubble.
Well,
Obviously,
I think we just started.
Yeah,
it.
I know, right. Obviously, you're the bull here.
Well,
it's a slight bear perspective, but he's just being honest.
No, and I don't necessarily disagree. There has to be an adjustment in the market. I think it's starting. I think you're starting to see the beginning of it. I just don't think there's going to be, you blow up that balloon and you pop it. I may be wrong.
Jerry, watch this. I agree with you.
I need to know, that was, it's 11, almost 11:30.
You got two high-level salesmen right here. Can you tell? Two high-level salesmen.
I agree with you. But
yeah.
Oh my gosh, Rob Abrano, welcome to the show, fellas. An hour and 15 minutes in here. Maybe some final words.
I think we're going to do the bulls and the bears and the bubble thing, and we'll bring some real estate agents.
It'd be
in
great.
and stuff that we'll do that.
I don't know many agents though that would bring the bear mindset to the housing bubble topic.
I'm not 100% sure of that. Somebody like Jim Duncan you might be able to get him to have that conversation with you.
You think?
I think, well, we'll find out.
Okay, we will see. My friend Joseph Gentile, how about a final word?
Hey, listen, I love coming down here, and this was refreshing to get back on the road. See you guys again. Hopefully we do it again soon. This is fantastic. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for being here. We didn't get to the meatball recipe. We'll have to save that for
It's a good thing we didn't. I told you they're above average, and when I go from good to great, then we'll roll it out there.
Well, we were talking about at dinner last night that his family and my mother's father's family are from the same area in Italy, from Bari. His Italian, well, you're 100% Italian. My half Italian side is the same part of Italy as his family.
Lauren says the Lavo meatball in the Big Apple is the best one she's ever had. Tell Joseph to try that one. The Lavo 1 pound meatball.
I will have to try it.
1 pound.
Yeah, it's a 1
That's a
pound
big.
meatball.
That makes
a big
one hell of a
meatball.
meatball sub.
1 pound meatball. All right, guys, that's your show. This is Real Talk. This gentleman is A-plus people, Joseph Gentile. Pearl certification speaks for itself. Pearl certification drives return on investment. This gentleman, Keith Smith, one of the partners of Yes Realty Partners. Thank you kindly for joining us on Real Talk
And we couldn't do this without you.
on the I Love Seville Network. Thank you.
Couldn't do it without Judah.
For Judah Wickhauer, my name is Jerry Miller.
What are you on at 12:30?
Our buddy Alex Serpi to talk finance. I may ask some of these topics to the CEO of a financial firm.
That's
I
awesome.
have him on in an hour here. So some of these topics, Alex, if you're watching, get ready. They're going to be coming at you. Thank you guys for joining us on Real Talk. You guys have a good morning. Take care. Nicely done. Nicely done.
That was excellent,
Nicely
fellas.
done.
Great work.
Hour and 15 minutes. Very nicely done.
Love it.
If I can get Lisa to come drive in, Lisa Sturtevant. I think that she